Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephen Strahl, and I am the co-director of the NYC DOE Yoga and Mindfulness Teacher Preparation Program, along with my colleague, Beverly Logan, and on behalf of Executive Superintendents Karen Watts and Barbara Freeman, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our Wednesday practice. The pilot cohort of the NYC DOE Yoga and Mindfulness Teacher Preparation Program, funded by a generous grant from Borough President Eric L. Adams, graduated from our certification program this past January. As we consider our contribution in this remote environment, we believe teaching live in both our regular work streams and these twice-weekly public practices will help us realize our vision of a certified NYC DOE yoga and mindfulness teacher in every school by 2030. And now to return to our Coddleston Pie story in the Tao of Pooh. "I like mud," said Pooh. "Yes, well, anyway, on a hot summer day, nothing like it," he said. "But the point is, it keeps you cool," he said. "That's not important here," Pooh said. I said, "It's not?" He asked in a shocked sort of way. "I mean, there are other things to be." "How do you know?" said Pooh. "Have you ever tried?" "No, but just the thing for a hot summer day," he continued, leaning back and closing his eyes, "down by the river, covered in mud." "Look, Pooh, mud's nice," said Piglet, walking over to the writing table and looking up at us. "It adds color to your skin." "Can't say I ever cared for it," said Owl, flying over and perching on the lamp. "It sticks in one's feathers. Rather disagreeable." "You see," I said, "everyone's different." And that's what we were discussing. And now I'm pleased to introduce you to our certified Yoga and Mindfulness Teacher Preparation Program teacher, Jami Whitney, live from Ditmas Park, Brooklyn.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jami Whitney, and I'm a certified yoga and mindfulness teacher with the NYC DOE Yoga and Mindfulness Teacher Preparation Program. We will be practicing together for the next 45 minutes. And as we move and breathe and practice together, I ask that you set an intention for yourself today on the mat. Our current daily experience may be filled with challenges, anxieties, and uncertainties, not knowing what will happen next, and perhaps not feeling in control. It is within that space that we have the ability and the capacity to cultivate and strengthen our sense of resilience. Yoga and mindfulness are practices that can keep us tuned into the present moment and that may help us navigate the waves around us with more grace and with flexibility. In the words of late poet and musician Leonard Cohen, "There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." It is with this curiosity to finding the light that I invite you to practice with me today. So we'll begin on the floor, seated, for the meditation portion of our class. I invite you to sit, if you have a yoga mat or a blanket, comfortably on the floor. In a cross-legged position, we're going to find a mindful seat. So in this mindful seat, our hands can rest comfortably on our knees or our thighs. We're going to inhale together through the nose, and then exhale, releasing out with a sigh, the letting go breath. You may feel your shoulders release down. Inhaling again in that way through the nose deeply. Exhaling it out, feeling your shoulders soften and feeling the features of your face relax and release. Our mindful seat is one that's a dignified seat, but it's not too rigid. So you want to feel a long pathway for your breath to travel all the way from the ground upwards towards the crown of your head, as if it could extend through the ceiling. So taking a moment to find that mindful seat, a seat with intention. We'll soften and close the eyes. And simply start to notice the breath in your body. Without trying to change your breath, adjust it, or judge it. Simply noticing how your breath is moving for you at this present moment. Feeling on the inhale, the chest rise, and feeling on the exhale, the chest fall. A perfect natural rhythm that you have to do nothing to control. Your breath is perfectly designed to sustain you and support you and nourish you. Each inhale perfectly balanced to meet the exhale by its own design. As we focus on our breathing and our breath, you may notice that your mind becomes distracted. Maybe by things that you were supposed to do, things of the past, or maybe things of the future. It's very natural for a mind to be distracted and pulled away, because it's not often we settle in to really focus on the present. If you find as you're breathing that your mind is distracted, with a lot of kindness and a lot of love, simply guide yourself back to the breath, back to your body, knowing that mindfulness is simply the art of coming back. Giving yourself the same courtesy that you would, the same kindness you would offer a small child as they are easily distracted. Guide yourself back to you. We'll start to open our awareness to all of the sounds around you. So fading your attention away from the breath and opening up to the soundtrack and the sea of sounds. Perhaps you hear people in rooms nearby. Maybe you hear outside sounds. Birds chirping, neighbors chatting, babies laughing or crying. Maybe a distant car horn or a siren. Opening our attention as if it is a big net and we can capture the whole of these sounds, so that we're not experiencing them as single notes, but as one song. Each note is important, and they all come together. As you open your awareness to sounds in this way, you may also become distracted. The mind likes to tell stories about things it doesn't know. Likes to give names to people, categorize, give certain things importance over others. If you find your mind being active in this way, simply pull back, return to the breath, return to the feeling of your body grounded on the floor. Breathe there, and then when you're ready, open your awareness back out. It's very human to be distracted this way. And we're simply practicing coming back. So we'll breathe in this way, taking in this whole soundtrack around us for a few breaths. Coming back to your breath as you need. Start to bring your focus back to your breath and your body. A rise and fall. Hands can come to heart, And if you would like, set an intention for your practice and your time on the mat today. Maybe send yourself some love for dedicating this time for yourself. Inhaling in this compassion and kindness, and exhaling it out with a big sigh, releasing it into the world. You can wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Eyes can open, and you can stretch in a way that feels good and feels welcome right now, after a little bit of sitting and breathing with intention. We're now going to move into the yoga portion of our class. So we'll begin in the tabletop position. For a tabletop position, hands and knees, you're going to outstretch your fingers and press your palms evenly, completely into the mat. You're going to look back and see that your knees are about hip width apart, and that your shoulders are over the wrists and the hips are over the ankles. Gazing down, your neck can be a part of this alignment from the tailbone all the way through the crown of the head, feeling a flat neutral spine here in tabletop. We'll begin by linking the movements and the breath with some simple cat-cow movements. So from here, we're going to inhale, arch the back, float the chest and gaze forward, opening up. And on the exhale, we're going to round, belly up and in. Nice and slowly, moving with the breath. Inhaling to float the gaze, arch the back. And exhaling to round, belly up and in. So moving and breathing in this way for a few breaths. Maybe you're moving at a faster pace than me. Maybe you're moving at a slower pace than me. Wherever you are, moving at a pace that's true to you, where you can move with intention, move and notice. Waking up the spine, preparing the body for some bigger movements. Maybe it's the first time you stretch today, maybe it's not. And when you're ready, we might start to open up our movements to some more abstract or circular shapes. So maybe even coming back onto the heels, into a circle, rounding up over the wrists. Nice and slowly. And with curiosity here, if there's a space that you land in for a breath or two that feels very good, I invite you to try and see what it's like, see what sensations you may feel. So making this practice your own and moving in your own way. And if you're moving in a circle, you may think about reversing. Feeling what it's like to move in the other direction. Eventually coming to our back where we'll meet in our neutral tabletop. So from here, we're preparing for a balancing pose. So again, spreading the fingers, pressing the hands evenly into the mat. We're going to engage the core to help with our balance. Inhale, and on the exhale, the right leg will step back and up. Toes pointing down, heel and foot pressing into the back wall, balancing here. On the inhale, the left arm will extend in front, thumb pointing up as if you're going to shake somebody's hand. So finding a balance with these arms and legs extended. Inhale, on the exhale, we'll connect the elbow and the knee, rounding in. On the inhale, we'll extend. And on the exhale, we'll connect and round. One last breath, we'll extend out and connect and rounding in. Placing the palm on the mat, we'll swing that leg up in between the hands, finding a forward lunge with the back knee grounded here. So just warming up the body some more and flowing here. We're going to inhale, bending deeply into the front knee, shining the heart and chest forward. On the exhale, we'll slowly begin to straighten the leg and round the spine. So similar to these cat-cow movements we just experienced. Inhaling to bend the knee deeply. And exhaling to round and straighten. Again, at a pace that works for you. Inhaling again. And exhaling to round and straighten. Next time your knee is bent towards the front, we're going to press into our toe and activate the back leg, coming into a full front lunge on this side. From here, preparing for a twist, our left palm will press into the mat, and the right will peel up and will twist facing the back wall, palm facing the back wall, and gazing up at the outstretched hand. Breathing here with that leg fully engaged, and exhaling to bring the palm down, and the knee down, and then placing the front knee back to tabletop. We're going to take that position and that balance on the opposite side. So taking a moment to find your stance, pressing the palms, engaging the core for balance. Inhale, on the exhale, the left leg will come up and back, toes pointing down. Inhaling the opposite arm up and extending out in front of you. Inhale to extend, exhale to connect and round. Inhaling to extend, and exhaling to connect and round. Inhaling to extend, exhaling to connect and round. Inhaling once more to extend, and then placing the palms down, placing the knees down. We're going to open the knees, bring the toes together, and then we're going to push back our hips towards our toes into our extended child's pose. So actively pressing the arms in front of you and opening the palms. We're going to press the body between the knees and rest our forehead on or near the ground, relaxing and releasing. And with each deep breath, feeling a big opening in the back body. And taking a moment to tune in to what's going on inside in a very internal pose. Breathing in, we're slowly going to come up, back to tabletop. We might inch a little bit up onto our mat. We're going to come into a plank pose. So again, pressing evenly into your hands. We're going to step back with the left leg and then the right. Feeling everything activated here, feeling the core active, feeling one long line from your hips and torso. Gazing down so your neck is a part of that alignment. In this powerful, strong pose. Inhaling, exhaling, hips back and up to downward dog. Maybe stepping in a little bit. Perhaps bending and straightening the knees or pedaling them out. Pressing the heels down towards the ground. And feeling the shoulder blades active here, belly up and in. Shaking the head yes, shaking the head no. Just releasing into the downward dog, first one of the practice, and breathing for 2 breaths. On an inhale, come forward through our plank. And on an exhale, come back and up, downward dog. On an inhale, flow to plank. And on an exhale, back and up, downward dog. So flowing between these two postures in your own speed for a few breaths. Feeling strong, feeling powerful. Maybe challenged. Next time you come to downward dog, where we'll meet, we're going to inhale the right leg up into a three-legged dog, toes pointing down. We're going to sweep that back leg through so that it meets between the hands. Finding here a front lunge where we'll find our warrior one. So bending deeply into the front knee, looking down to ensure that the legs are on a train track, not a tight rope. We're going to pivot the back heel down. We can use our hands to bump everything forward so that our hips are lining up to the front of the wall here. And then our arms will inhale actively up, palms facing one another. Inhale, shoulders up and down to release them a bit. Finding our warrior one pose. Breathing here in this shape. Inhale, and on an exhale, we'll open up wide to warrior two, palms face down. Maybe your stance widens a little, and then keeping that heart and the chest facing forward and open. We'll gaze over the outstretched fingers, checking back to see if the back arm is in line with the front. Warrior two. Inhale, we'll flip the front palm up and we'll float it back into peaceful warrior. Following the palm with your gaze. Inhaling into warrior two. And exhaling to reverse or peaceful warrior. Taking a few breaths to flow in your own time. Finding a rhythm between these shapes. Next time we land in warrior two, we're going to bring the front forearm down to our thigh, and with this openness in the chest, we're going to extend the back arm up and overhead, feeling one long line from the back foot to the front of the top fingers, gazing up at outstretched hand, extended side angle pose. Breathing here. Inhale, we're going to cartwheel the arms back up to warrior two. On the exhale, we'll look forward, bump everything forward, and we'll take our back leg about halfway in, preparing us for warrior three, a balancing posture. So to begin, we'll just bend both knees a bit. We'll find a little bit of bounce, a little bit of buoyancy here that may serve us with this movement and this balance. We'll begin by pressing the front foot evenly into the mat and feeling really all four corners of the foot press and support you. Opening up the toes, really engaging that foot. We're going to engage also the back thigh here, which is going to be very active and helping to bring this back leg up so that it's both the front and the back that are bringing us into a balance. Hips are facing forward. On an inhale, arms are active and engaged like warrior one. Chest is open, heart is open. On the exhale, we're going to hinge forward. Back leg will come up, toes pointing down. Finding our warrior three. Knowing if you're shaky or a little unbalanced, you can hold on to something. And if you fall, you can get back in. Just exploring this balance right now. Inhale, exhale, we'll slowly come back up, come back down. And we'll place the left foot beside the right, stopping for a moment to pause and breathe in mountain pose. Feeling a mindful spine in mountain. Palms facing forward, thumbs pointing outward. Just touching base with how you're feeling on the inside right now. Any sensations that may arise as one pose fades away. taking advantage of a moment to self-reflect. We're going to explore the opposite side for our warrior flow. So from a mountain pose, we'll inhale the arms up overhead, rounding down into a forward fold. Knees can be bent or can be straight, somewhere in the middle. Wherever you're at, just releasing and relaxing here. So shaking the neck, shaking the head. You can grab the elbows. Just releasing and feeling as you breathe deeply, a big opening in the back body. Inhaling, we'll come up halfway, hands to shins, to a flat back. And exhaling, we'll round and release down. We'll bend the knees deeply, plant the palms, and we'll step our legs back to tabletop. So from here, just to play with a little bit of strength practice, what we're going to do is engage the core to assist with our balance. We're going to press evenly into our palms, and we're going to tuck the toes. Inhaling. On the exhale, we're going to rise up. Knees will hover off of the ground. Breathing here for a few breaths. Engaging all of the body. Inhaling, exhale, hips back and up to downward dog. Inhale, we're going to float the left leg back up behind us to a three-legged dog, toes pointing down. Sweeping that leg up in front in between your hands. Landing in our warrior one. So pivoting that back leg down, bending the knee deeply. Hips and chest facing forward. Arms active. Warrior one pose. Inhale, exhale to open up to our warrior two. Chest open, gazing over the front fingertips. Inhale to flip the palm. Exhale, reverse to peaceful warrior. And again, flowing in your own speed and your own rhythm. Being mindful of connecting the breath and the movement. From here, bringing the forearm down to the thigh. Back arm sweeps up. Extended side angle pose, keeping the openness and expansiveness in the chest. Gazing up at the palm. Breathing here. Inhaling to slowly cartwheel back up, warrior two. And exhale, face forward, everything forward, stepping in about halfway. Preparing for warrior three on the opposite side. So again, maybe taking a couple bounces. You may feel differently on one side than the other. It's very normal. So planting that front foot evenly, all four corners of the foot pressing in. Activating the back thigh and leg. Chest and heart open, arms active. Inhaling here, and the exhale will hinge forward. Pressing the back foot into the wall, toes down, warrior three. Breathing here in this balance. Inhale, exhale, slowly coming down. Stopping for a moment again to pause and mountain. Maybe close the eyes. Take some time to look inside. On the inhale, we'll sweep the arms up overhead. Maybe take a gentle back bend here, and on the exhale, we'll dive forward into a forward fold. Inhaling halfway up to a flat back. Exhaling to round and release. Deeply bending the knees, planting the palms, we'll step back to our extended child pose. So tabletop, connecting the toes, opening the knees, and then stretching back extending the arms, and feeling supported and feeling held by the mat here completely. Taking a moment just to pause and to breathe deeply. Maybe reconnect to the intention that you started at the beginning. Maybe just sit with your breath. Inhale, we'll slowly peel back up. This time our knees can come together. You can swing the feet around so that you can come onto your seat. And the legs can press out, stretch out in front of you. They can be bent a lot, a little, somewhere in the middle. But wherever you are, just taking a moment, sitting up tall, mindful spine here. Inhaling, arms up overhead. And on the exhale, we're going to hinge slowly forward until you cannot hinge any longer, and you're just going to melt over, making contact with the ankles, toes, thighs, or hips. Just finding a place where you can breathe really deeply and relaxing and releasing into this pose, into our seated forward fold. Breathing 2 deep breaths here. Inhaling slowly up, arms up overhead, and exhaling, arms back down. I'm going to now take the right leg into the body, so bending the knee, bringing the heel into the thigh, making an L shape with the legs. We're going to have our left leg extended in the same way, hips facing forward. Inhaling again, tall, long spine, and exhaling in the same way, rounding forward. And finding the stretch with the left leg, eventually rounding and releasing. And breathing deeply into the back body. Inhaling to slowly come back up. Exhaling to release back down. We're going to replace this leg with the other, so carefully putting the right leg back down. Left knee can come in towards the body, and then open up. Knee may not be on the floor, that's okay. But from here, toes pointing upward, big, tall, mindful spine. I'm going to inhale up again, and round down again. Hinging and eventually rounding and connecting. For a few breaths. Inhaling to slowly come back up. And exhaling, arms back down. And just taking a moment to press both legs, so separating the knees, feet come together. You can hold onto your toes. And just taking a moment to sit the knees apart in cobbler pose. Sitting up tall with a long spine here. And if your knees are up here, it's okay. But just sitting wherever you are with a tall, long spine. Inhaling, and on the exhale, we're going to round down the same way. Hinging forward, and then eventually rounding and releasing. Inhale, we'll slowly peel back up. And exhale, we'll come and we'll bring the knees together. We're going to come down onto our back for a bridge pose. So with our knees bent and our feet planted into the ground, we're going to carefully bring ourselves down onto the floor. Now really feeling again the feet actively pressing the thighs and knees pressing towards one another, so they're very activated. Palms pressing into the mat here. Finding our breath. We're going to inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to lift the hips up. Shoulders can come under the body, hands can clasp. And breathing in for our first bridge. Pushing in evenly through the feet. Inhale. On the exhale, we'll slowly release the hands and with a lot of control, come down. So pausing for a moment. We're going to take that bridge one more time. So preparing, activating the legs and feet. Inhale, and with the exhale, we'll push the hips up and up. And then the arms will come under, hands can clasp, shoulders under the body. Breathing into our bridge. Inhale, exhale to slowly come back down. You can hug your knees into the body. Maybe a little bit of movement. Give yourself a little spine massage here. It can feel pretty good to rock on the spine. Maybe move in small circles. Just taking a few moments to move in any way before we come to a place of relaxation. When we're ready to be still, I'm going to slowly drop both legs to the ground. Opening the toes a bit out to the side. Arms can rest fully supported, fully held by the mat. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out, letting go. Feeling a release in the shoulders. Breathing in again that way, deeply. Breathing out to release. Feeling the face, the features of the face soften, relax. And with each breath, maybe feel like you're releasing and relaxing a bit more into the mat, knowing that it's there to hold you. And you have nothing left to do but be and breathe. Feeling the benefits of our practice today and taking this time just to relax. We'll start to deepen our breath a little bit. Wiggle our fingers, maybe wiggle our toes. Inhaling, maybe stretching the arms up overhead. And we'll carefully and slowly roll over to one side of the body. Maybe stopping for a moment in a fetal position for one more breath. We'll use our hands to gently, slowly bring us back up. And we're going to land in the same place we started, in this mindful seat. So taking a moment to close your eyes. Taking a moment to reconnect with the breath, the body, and the mind. Your hands can come to your heart. And give a moment to send some gratitude and send some love to yourself for dedicating and carving out time for yourself, for building, for cultivating resilience, for giving time to build strength and flexibility and grace. We'll inhale this love to ourself deeply through the nose. And with an exhale, with a big release, we'll send that love into the world and to those around us who need it so much. Hands can come down, eyes can open. And I want to thank you for taking this time to connect with me today and for giving yourself this time to reconnect and to rejuvenate. I hope you make time for yourself every day in some way or another. So I'm going to now turn this back over to Stephen Stroll, YMTP²'s co-director. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamie, and thank you everyone for joining us for our practice today. I invite you all to take one more breath with us and step outside and consider what might be if the sky were yellow and the sun were blue. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you on Friday for our 2 o'clock accessible yoga practice brought to you by the New York City Department of Education Yoga and Mindfulness Teacher Preparation Program. Have a good afternoon.